Hi guys, it's Professor Landine. You're going to see different professors jumping in this course to help out with some of the content. That's fine. It's all in the name of making sure that you get everything that you can out of this course. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the article, The Dilemmas of International Social Work. This article is really in depth. It talks about some big concepts with international social work, and it really hits upon what I wanted you guys to really get out of that cultural competency piece. So it's not just understanding a culture in terms of, its food and its religion and its politics, but understanding how your upbringing and your own culture plays a role in how you view the world. Just like the rest of the world views United States citizens through the lens of their culture. So this creates some dilemmas when you're talking about creating international social work and maybe standards for such practices to be carried out. The article really does a good job of going in depth about three basic principles. And that's what I really want you guys to focus on and think about critically how international social work can rise above or at least be aware of these principles when we're going in and helping other countries or taking in what other countries are doing within their own context and help with the social work standards that way. So the three ideas, and I'm just going to be looking at my notes here, are the contradiction of the theories that drive social work to encapsulate the different cultures. Indigenization, which is a big word, really how social work is molded into the local environment. So the people really using their own beliefs culturally, politically, the economic climate there to really sculpt how social work can be used within their environment. Okay, and how social work responds to different issues in that environment. So why is that important? We can think about cultures that maybe have different ideals than our own, and how can we be respectful of those when we go in and offer international aid work or things like that. The other idea is that social work can be universal and that we can have universal standards. And so, of course, there are basic human rights that we think all people are maybe equal and should have the same opportunities. But when we look at that, those are really Western ideals. And so not all other cultures are going to believe that in the rights of the individual. Sometimes family rights or the good of the overall society is more important than the individual. And so that has to be respected. And how can we have really universal policies when some cultures vary so differently? So really looking at that, and also the idea of imperialism was talked about. And so that's the idea that social work in itself is a Western invention. It came from the West. And so when it's going into other places, are we taking our ideals and values and really imposing them upon these other cultures? Are we saying that our culture is better or our ideals are better? For instance, the idea that all people are created equal and is true in maybe our culture, although it's not always followed. It is one of the tenets that we say we uphold, but maybe another culture doesn't believe that women really have the same rights. And so how can we have social work practices within a cultural context that really works even against what we believe? So being respectful of that. So I'd like you guys to really think about these ideas while you're going through this article. It falls in line with chapter 1, talking about social work and undeveloped nations, and really is it an internal issue that's happening within the nation, or is it more external forces that is keeping those countries really oppressed. It kind of goes hand in hand in that. So I want you to think about that. There's an assignment that goes along. I'm going to ask for your reflection upon that, and I'll give you redirection if needed. But really, what I'm looking for is that you understand these concepts and have thought critically about the idea of international social work and some of the problems that the idea of that presents, and the implementation of that really presents. Okay? Thanks for listening and enjoy the article. See you soon.